Ladies and gentlemen, I am SidAlpha. Now, strategy RPGs have always held a bit of a special place in my heart. Harkening back to the Super Nintendo days with the Final Fantasy III and other games of that type, building and improving your characters, their stats and equipment, and putting them to the test in pitched battles are usually something that's right up my alley. So when I came across D.N.Age, I was intrigued, despite the mixed reviews that it was receiving from users on Steam. It seemed like an interesting system, and I decided to take a dive and see what it was all about. But before we take a look at it together, let's take a quick look at the options menu for D.N.Age. Oh, for the ever-loving fuck, are you serious? Another stock Unity options menu. Screen resolution, language, English or Japanese, windowed and vertical sync. And yeah, awesome. So awesome. It's great. Now, D.N.Age is defined as a strategy RPG, although the RPG elements themselves are extremely light. This game looks and feels more like it would be better suited to a mobile device platform like Android or iOS. And when I went to investigate the developers, I found exactly that. The game is available on the Google Play Store for $4.99, and apparently it seems that the PC version of the game is a port from the mobile app that was released in 2014. And this being a mobile app suddenly made so many pieces fall into place for me and made a great deal of sense. The look and feel of the game and its gameplay denoted a heavy influence of being designed for touchscreen interfaces. Even the About This Game on the Steam storefront is a copy-paste from the Google Play Store description, mercifully cutting itself off before it says no push messages and network connection not required. Now, D.N.Age itself starts off your character waking up in another dimension, where monsters and elves are real and you are a monster wrangler. And with the help of your assistant, you set out to charge the Dimension Gate to get home. And how do you charge the Dimension Gate, you might ask? Why, you punch a lot of monsters in the face. What else? I mean, how else would one charge up an interdimensional portal capable of transporting people between worlds? You beat up on a bunch of innocent creatures. Now, the game introduces you to the game mechanics through a fairly easy to understand tutorial segment, but you know, let's be honest, the game isn't that complicated to begin with. It's a mobile port, which unfortunately means it's not going to have a good deal of depth and richness to it for the most part. The game's main features are showcased within its name naturally. You have your stable of monsters that you quote-unquote merge in order to create a new monster with improved stats. Now, this is done through randomized chance along the lines of a standard grouping of dominant and recessive genes. You manipulate these combinations in order to create new and more powerful monsters, which you would think that this would create a good deal of a variety from having different and interesting combinations of monsters. But unfortunately, with each primary type of monster, there's only one objectively best DNA combination, which really limits things down to the base creature and the optimal DNA configuration. Now, once you have your deck or party of monsters ready to go, you can take them out and fight them, as you do have to punch a lot of monsters in the face to be able to charge up that pesky dimensional gateway that's preventing you from being able to get home. And this is, unfortunately, right where the game falls squarely flat on its face. You have absolutely no control over the combat. Now, leaving the entire thing up to RNG, you stand by helplessly while your monsters exhibit the most moronic of choices imaginable as you wait to see the outcome of what the fight will be. And before you ask, no, there's no way to change this, and there's no way to control things to give you a better or at least more optimal engagement. It all seems to boil down to randomly selected choices. The monsters fight each other in a turn-based combat system that relies heavily on the rock, paper, scissors mechanic, except here it's water, fire, and air. Water creatures get bonus damage to fire and even to themselves. Fire damages air more, and air damages water more. But you have no way to control this, which is the biggest complaint I have with the game. It turns you, the player, into a spectator for what could have been a simple yet highly effective battle mechanic to implement, as each creature has a health and special meter along with a primary attack and ability. They even have hit points along with attack, defense, and dexterity ratings. Having a real combat mechanic here would have actually turned it into a pretty great game. especially considering the price point. But no, that didn't happen here. Play with your randomized DNA resequencer, dress up your assistant in whatever fetish fantasy clothing you deem fit, and watch the game fight itself. And no, I'm not kidding. The game actually has a dress your assistant mechanic where you customize her appearance, which ties into literally nothing else in the game and offers no bonuses whatsoever aside from the fact that it's something to spend your gold on as you pick out what skimpy outfit you want your hand-drawn character to wear. Now, sporting an interesting premise that could have been a great game mechanic, the game ultimately suffers from a complete and utter lack of depth and forces the player into becoming a spectator, which is a cardinal sin in my book. Now, as a mobile game, I would say it's decent, even good. But it could have been great had it had an actual combat system instead of leaving the entire game up to RNG. As a PC game, it fails in pretty much every area except for stability and graphics. A prime example that games usually do not translate well when ported from mobile devices to PC or console. They just, for the most part, are left shallow, hollow, and wanting, which is unfortunately the case here. And I have to say, unfortunately, this game just isn't worth it despite the promise that it had. Again, if it had an actual combat mechanic and more depth to the DNA mixing and matching, this would have been an interesting and innovative game, but without those, it's just boring and pointless. So this has been a look at D.N.Age, an Android game ported to PC and released on Steam on July 29th and is $5 or your original equivalent. Now, thanks again, ladies and gentlemen. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. My channel only grows if you help it to grow, so please do show your love and support, and don't forget those buttons are there. Once again, I am SidAlpha, and I will see you next time. Hi there, boys and girls. Thanks for checking my video out. If you liked what you saw, don't forget to hit that like button and maybe even that subscribe button. Trust me, it works really good. Don't forget to share with your friends, and if you're interested in following me on Twitter and Facebook, the links for that are in the description down below. I also have a Patreon if you're interested in helping to support the growth of my channel, and the link for that is down below as well. And once again, thanks for watching and supporting my channel, guys. I really appreciate it.